Hello, everybody. We're going to wait for everybody to pop in, so we'll give it just a second. You're in the Trefoil room. Does it feel any different from your kitchen? It should feel like awesome. Okay. I'm Meredyth Censullo, and I'm going to sort of be your ringleader, but of course, the star of the show is Chef Amber Pruett. And so Chef, we're going to pop your audio on because I want you to tell us a little bit about yourself, because you are a big deal. You are in charge of recipe development. So this means that this recipe is going to be awesome. Can everybody hear Chef Amber? I think she might. Okay, so I think Chef is on mute. We'll see. I think she might have to unmute herself.
There we go. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yay!
Trust me, nobody wants to hear me teaching people how to bake.
Well, if it turns out bad, I didn't do it. So fingers crossed, everybody. It's going to come out awesome. Trefoil Kitchen is the best kitchen.
So real quickly, recipe development.
Oh.
So this is going to be an amazing recipe because you know your stuff.
Well, I hope so. We do a lot of stuff in this kitchen. I mean, as you can see, this is the recipe development kitchen. This is the public's recipe development kitchen. Not everybody gets to see this kitchen. You and only you get to see this kitchen right now. This is where the magic happens.
Yes, it doesn't happen here. Hey, before we get to cooking real quick, we want to remind you about the fundraising challenge that was mentioned right at the start of everything. There's actually a separate challenge for our room, and whichever room raises the most money, everybody in the room is going to be entered into another prize drawing.
Ooh.
So what you have to do is text Trefoil, Trefoil, to the number that was given earlier. I'll give it to you again. It's 855-980-0305, and it should be in your chat also. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get started. If you have any questions, I will be monitoring the chat, and I'll pop in and I will talk to Amber and pass along any questions. And when we do get some downtime, you'll be able to ask her some questions as well. Okay, so let's get started. I'll take it away, Chef.
Oh, I'm here. Recipe Development Kitchen, everybody. This is the Publix Recipe Development Kitchen. This is where we develop aprons, simple meals recipes. I know you pass by that in your cart when you're shopping. Maybe take a sample or two. We also develop all the private label recipes you see maybe on a bag of flour, fresh recipes, new subs in the deli. Really anything with a recipe within Publix comes from this kitchen right here. And only Trefoil Kitchen gets to see it. Only you guys. Nobody else, no one knows where this kitchen is, only you. So this is where all the magic happens, as I said. I develop with a couple other chefs here a lot of the recipes that you guys get to taste and see every day. We develop a lot of recipes, probably a couple thousand every year. We just got finished with June development. June, everyone. We've already been in 2021, and I gotta say, it's better. 2021 has turned out really good. So I've been working with Publix for 15 years. Before that, I worked at Walt Disney World, and I worked in a lot of different kitchens there. And I also worked in some places in Pennsylvania and Chicago. So I've worked a little bit of the Midwest, I guess I could say. But I'm originally from Ohio, so go Buckeyes, OHIO if you're out there. And you know, this is where it's all going to break down and happen. This is a really simple tart recipe, and I got some tips and tricks to make sure that our tart comes out amazing. So who's ready? Who's ready to get started? Everybody? I don't hear anybody. I'm just kidding. I can't hear you. Everybody's muted. It's all right. I feel all alone in the kitchen right now. I need you.
We're ready.
I'm going
Look
to
at my
join you.
face, everybody. Look, we're going to zone into everybody. We're going to feel each other's love going into this pie, this tart. So
Okay.
hopefully we're all ready to go.
Yes.
Meredyth, are you ready to go?
I hope so. I pre-prepared a lot of this stuff just so it doesn't turn into a disaster. So.
Right. And I mean, sometimes first pie doesn't come out the best. You know, it still tastes good. It's all right. As long as it tastes good, just eat it. I'm sure everybody will be amazingly impressed.
All right.
So,
first step.
We're ready. First step. So it says to set a rack in the lower part of your oven and preheat your oven. I'm hoping everyone's already preheated their oven to 375.
Everybody?
The reason? Everybody might know the reason. The reason is we don't want it at the high part of the oven because you're going to cook the tart too fast, too hot, too high. We don't want to do that. We don't want burnt chocolate. That's not good. And you don't want it in the lower part of the oven too far close to the bottom, then you'll burn the crust. So about the 2/3 to the middle part of your oven is just fine. So our oven's preheated. So today's Saturday. You probably didn't have a bad day today. At least I didn't. Maybe during the week. So I didn't pre-chop my nuts. There's a couple different ways you can do it. We have our macadamia nuts here. You can put it in your food processor, handy dandy food processor, pulse it a couple times. If you want it fine chopped, you go right ahead. You want it coarsely chopped, go right ahead. If you don't have a food processor, what you can do is you can take this baggie here. Everybody see the baggie? And let's just say you had a bad week. Let's say someone called you some names. You're just gonna take a meat mallet and we're gonna crush these nuts in the zip top bag.
Yep.
You know, make sure that they don't call you names anymore. All right. Love and peace. Love and peace. So, crush nuts. How fast was that? So
Fast.
easy.
Yeah.
If you don't like macadamia nuts, you could do peanuts. You could do cashews, pecans. I mean, I could probably name all the nuts if you really wanted to. Or if you don't like nuts at all, guess what? You could skip that part. I won't tell anyone.
So Chef Amber, I was wondering, for those maybe have a nut allergy or just are into the nuts, what's a good topper for this that would still go really well with it?
It would be amazing. I think salted pretzels. Salted pretzels crushed up in place of the nuts would be very, very good. You could also just omit nuts entirely, and then at the end, maybe have a little like raspberries or some strawberries. What chocolate doesn't go good with fruit? I mean, I think chocolate and fruit, any fruit really goes well. So you could just omit the nuts too entirely.
All right.
Yeah. That was a hard question. I got to take a minute. All right. Next part, we got butter. This is what puts the love in the pie right here. We got butter. So it says we need 9 tablespoons. So 3 tablespoons, 1, 2, and 3, we're going to melt. So if you've got a microwave, you can easily put the butter in a microwave safe dish and melt it. Just do it 20 to 30 second intervals until the butter is melted. We don't want to burn the butter or have it bubble over your microwave cup. And Lord knows I've done that a couple times where I put it in there and the butter's all over my microwave and not so much in my cup. So let's melt that. The other, we're going to just chop up, cube it up. The reason is a little bit later, we want to make sure that this butter melts evenly with our cream and sugar. So you have a whole stick in there. It's going to take a really long time for that butter to melt. We got little cubes. Those cubes will melt evenly and quickly. So we got butter melting here. The next thing we're going to do is why we're here. The Trefoil cookies. I love these cookies. They're good breakfast, lunch, dinner, second dinner, snack time. I mean, when is it not good? So you can do it the way in the Ziploc bag, like I showed you with the nuts, if you don't have a food processor, or in the handy dandy food processor. We're going to crush these up. And you want these fine crumbs like sand. All right. So if you can't hear me, it's because this food processor is so loud. So sing a song. Pulse it.
It's not
Get
that
loud with it. Play a
it
song.
sounds good.
Can you hear me still?
I do
All
want
right.
to give a shout out to some of the girls. I think it's Addie and Nadia. They're going to town beating those macadamia nuts.
You're still beating the nuts? Oh my gosh.
Good job, girls. I see
Awesome.
everything. Yes.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
It's the wonders of Zoom.
I love it. Well, since you're still beating your nuts and crushing them, my butter's still melting, so it's perfect. It's perfect.
And I think Jessica and her family, she said that they were a little slow, but it looks like they're catching up.
Nope. I'm slowing down too. So I just crushed my cookies, and what is this? That is not a crushed cookie. So if that happens, just take brute force, and crush it up fine.
Oh, I was gonna say just eat it.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I could probably just melt it in my mouth. No one saw that. No one saw that. But just make sure when you do crush them all up real fine that everything is fine. Because what happens when you put this crust together in a second, and we go to put it in the tart pan, those big pieces aren't going to create a nice even shell or crust. So it's really important that it's as fine as you can get it. And when this pie is all done, it's not going to kind of cut weird when the knife goes through the pie. So as fine as you can get that, and if you see any big pieces, just crush them with your fingers. And if you see too many big pieces, maybe you didn't crush it enough, just put it back in the food processor. No one sees you. Only people that are seeing me mess up is me. So if I mess up, you're the first to know. Okay. So everybody's catching up. I'm playing with my cookies. I like it. Now, 18 cookies, or about 19 cookies that are in that sleeve, work great. Work up the sides of the cookie, the tart pan. If you're doing a pie pan, which is a little deeper, and I'm going to show you the difference of that, you want to add 6 more cookies. All right? So if you're doing a pie pan, we can show the difference. This is a pie plate. This is a tart pan. Everybody see the difference?
Yep.
Pie plate, tart pan. Pie plate, tart pan. Sides are thicker, right? So if you're doing a pie plate, you're going to do 6 more cookies. You don't need any more butter, just 6 more cookies. It's math, Crush them up like you mean it. Let it run, until you feel happy about it, and then you turn it off.
So what if you're doing the little mini tart pans?
If you're doing this mini tart pan, ta-da, you have just enough cookies. You don't need the extra cookies.
Okay.
If you want to add the cookies, or if you don't, it's fine. But 18 cookies will make a very nice crust. You don't need to add any more butter. The 6 tablespoons you have here is perfectly fine. But we're going to add all that butter just like that. You could scrape out the butter, make sure you get all of it, right? We said this is some of the love, so we want all the butter. Leave that pan. We're going to use it in a few minutes so we don't dirty a whole bunch of dishes. Leave that pan. All right, now get your hands in there. Now, if you got little kids, you don't want their little hands in the cookies like I'm doing, you can stir it. But you also want to make sure when you get the butter all incorporated that it holds together like wet sand. See how it's holding together? And then you can kind of crumble it still. Kind of like if you put water into sand. See that? That's what we want. That's like really goes for any like graham cracker or cookie pie crust. I just got cookies all over the counter. That's how you know you have enough butter. So it holds together, but you can do a little press and it still comes apart. Perfect pie crust.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to make another mess and go with my hands, even though I'm going to use it. Okay. Next part. We're going to press the cookie crust we just made into our tart pan pie plate. If you're doing the small tart pans, this crust will do about 4 to 5, depending on the width of your tart pan. So these are about 3-4 inches. It does 4 of these. If you're doing a tart pan, you're good. A pie plate, you can add, 6 more cookies to the mixture just to get up the sides really nice. I also did it in a cupcake liner. We'll talk about that later because that's a tip or trick that no one else is getting but you. So we're going to take our pie plate right here. Get our tart pan. You'll notice that I've got it on a sheet pan.
Yes.
This is so you're not trying to hold your pie plate and getting it into the oven. And see, this is a tart pan with the bottom releases. What's going to happen if you put your fingers through there when you got the crust? A mess. A mess. So think ahead, put it on a sheet pan. Crust going into the tart pan, everybody. And this is where you're going to kind of smooth it out even. Okay? And then once it's even and flat, that's when you're going to start pressing. You can use a measuring cup like this, and you're going to start pressing it into the sides. Make sure you get a nice crust. Make sure you're not leaving not enough on the bottom. The more you press it, the nicer the crust is going to be. I can't wait to see pictures. Hopefully you're posting these. Oh, all right. Everybody still up with me? No crying in the kitchen. There's no crying in the kitchen.
No.
Oh, don't say no. I hear you. Girl Scouts don't cry. All right.
Okay.
So I'm pressing this in. It's really, really good. Using my strength. You know, if it's a little heavier on one side, just brush the cookies over. It'll be fine. All right.
Okay.
And, you know, if you made a little bit of a mess on the sheet pan, just shake that off. You don't want that. That's going to burn a little bit.
Shake it off.
Oh, I like it. It's a good singer. Okay. We're going to put this in the refrigerator. We're done with this for a few minutes, okay? Let the butter solidify. Sorry. I'm back. Kidding. I'm back.
JK. You don't leave me here.
Did I scare you?
It won't end
You
well.
can do it. You'll be fine. All right, I'm just gonna wash my hands, get all the butter off. Okay, so tart pans, got the crust all in. The pie plate, you got your crust, we're good. Now it's on to the filling. Filling, let's get the cookies off of here. I got cookies everywhere. It's not a dessert unless there's a mess from my house anyway. Okay, next thing is we're going to put the cream, heavy whipping cream, everybody, and the butter into our pot here. So does everybody know what the difference between these are?
Cups. One's for liquid, one's for, yeah.
Dry. Yes. See, you know way. You could be my assistant. You know way more than you think you do. So wet measure, dry measure, flour, sugar, what have you. Cream, milk, go in here. This is like, I think, the one big challenge, mistake maybe in baking. Baking is very important. You use the correct measure or even by weight, but we want to make sure we use a wet measure for this. So we need 3/4 of a cup. You want to put it on the counter and you want to take a look at it. You want to look from up here. It's not going to be right. You want to get down level with it. Like you're going to like charge it like you're a buccaneer. All right. 3/4 of a cup going in that same pot with the butter. It doesn't matter.
Amber, just real quick, there was a question from Addie. She just wanted to make sure that you use the butter is in the crust, and that's the melted butter with the cookies.
3 tablespoons of the 9 tablespoons are in your crust.
Yes.
The remaining 6 tablespoons are in your cream.
Right.
Got that? You okay? If not, add more cookies. You'll be fine. Okay. It'll be fine. Just add more cookies if you did all of the butter. 3 tablespoons of butter in the crust, 6 remaining in with your cream. We're going to turn it on. You want it on medium low. You're just looking for it to be a warm to a simmer. You turn this on too hot, you're going to have burnt cream. We don't want that. We want just the butter and everything to slightly melt. Okay, while that's melting and warming, we're going to talk about chocolate. This is chocolate. I apologize. The sugar's supposed to go in here too. That is a quarter cup of sugar. Where's my measuring for sugar? Oh, that was dry measure, everybody. So the cream and the sugar go in the pot. That's what I get for not reading. The butter goes in later, but it doesn't matter. It's all in the same pool. It's all going to go together and be perfectly fine. So once this melts, we got bittersweet chocolate here. We got 1 cup of bittersweet chocolate. So a lot of questions are, can I do semi-sweet chocolate? Can I do milk chocolate? Yes, you can.
Okay, good.
Now, if you're going to change the chocolate to semi-sweet or milk chocolate, you want to reduce the sugar. So the less cacao, or the more cacao, the higher in chocolate it will be, less in sugar. So 75% cacao is typically a bittersweet, or even more than that, like an 85% is a dark chocolate, which has less sugar. You can add a little bit more sugar depending on how you like it. I personally like dark chocolate and bittersweet chocolate. I like the flavor. But as you go to semi-sweet chocolate, you're starting to get sweet. So you don't want to add a quarter cup of sugar. You maybe want to add 2 tablespoons of sugar, unless you really want it sweet. You want your hair to curl when you eat it, then by all means, it's your pie. You make it how you want to make it.
Let's just say someone maybe already put the sugar in the cream and has the semi-sweet chocolate chips.
Let's just say it. All right. So let's say that happened. If it did happen, make sure your pot is on the lowest of settings, okay?
Okay.
This may take you longer because you've got something that isn't quite warm yet, okay? And this, in order for this to melt all the way through and to give you a smooth texture without burning, it's going to take you a lot longer than it would be if this just comes up, it's warm, it's starting to simmer a teeny bit, you see the steam coming out.
Yeah.
We know it's close, but if you already added your chocolate, you're going to have to stir the whole time until it's completely melted.
No, I mean, I put the sugar in, but I have the semi-sweet chocolate chips, so it's going to be like sugar bomb.
Okay. You'll be fine. It's not that much sugar.
Okay.
You didn't mess it up yet. You're fine.
Okay.
Okay. So I've got my chocolate simmering. My chocolate simmering, everybody. It says add your butter if you haven't already. Add it. Taking it off. Add your butter. Whisk it in. As soon as you add it, add your chocolate chips, shake your pot, and don't touch it. Except for get that chocolate chip in there. You're going in. We're not going to move it. We're not going to shake it. We're not going to stir it. So what's happening is science, everybody. So the cream is nice and hot. We have the butter in there that got all nice and creamy. We have the chocolate in there that wasn't hot yet, right? It was cold, room temperature at best. So once we put it in the hot milk and we don't stir it, it's slowly melting from the outside in. We're going to give it a couple minutes to get to the center so that it melts and gets nice and smooth. This is like the most important part of making this crust, this pie. Because right here, if you whisk right away, you're probably going to have little bits of chocolate in your mixture because you didn't let it sit here and kind of melt and become one with the cream. It's a party is happening right now. You
so
can't
Shelly
tell.
Wants to know if Shelly asked if you can use white chocolate.
Well, Shelly, white chocolate, you probably could, but white chocolate's temperamental. It's technically not chocolate. It's more the butter fat of the chocolate. And white chocolate, when you melt it, can kind of be temperamental as far as the way that it melts. It can kind of coagulate and break on you. It's not going to work exactly the same in this pie as it would if you were making like a white chocolate cheesecake. That white chocolate, not exactly. Sorry, white chocolate's my favorite. I love it, but it doesn't really melt and bake the exact same way as your dark chocolate all the way up to your milk chocolate. Even then, those bake and melt differently. So bummer, I know, but maybe you could sprinkle it on top at the end.
So if you could just repeat, because we have a question about when you put the sugar in. So it's when you've got the cream on the stove,
Yep.
you're putting the sugar in there.
Yes. Cream and sugar in the saucepan on medium low. Let the milk and the sugar melt, little simmer. You'll see steam coming from that simmer. Okay, that's warm enough. You're then gonna add your 6 tablespoons of butter you had remaining. Just whisk it in, let it melt. That's all you're doing. And then you're gonna take it off the heat. Add your chocolate chips. Your chocolate chips, just shake, make sure they're covered, and then we're just gonna let that party happen on the counter. You're gonna be like, oh, I want to whisk it. Don't do it. Hold yourself back and don't do it. I promise you, it's gonna come together so amazingly. Just everybody sway together and sing Kumbaya for 2 minutes. It will be fun, I promise.
But I really want to stir it.
Don't do it. Don't do it. All right. It hasn't been 2 minutes yet, but it's okay. We're going to learn something else really, really cool here in a second. I don't think the other kitchens are going to learn it. I'm just going to say that out loud now. But I'm going to get the next part ready while you guys are catching up. I'm just saying. Put this down here.
Jessica says, wait, I'm not supposed to stir in the chocolate.
No, just dump the chocolate and shake the pan. Don't stir it. No stirring.
No stirring.
Can everybody see my pot? There's no stirring happening in my pot. I don't even want to like touch it. Okay.
Okay.
It's been 2 minutes, but we're not going there yet. Who wants to learn how to crack an egg with one hand? Raise your hand.
Yes.
I don't see anybody raise their. Oh yeah, that's because I can't see you. Okay. So everybody always asks me, how do you crack an egg? Well, first thing, you don't want to crack on the side of your bowl. You want to crack on a flat surface. Really important, flat surface. Because when you crack on the edge of a bowl, the corner of the counter, corner of a pan, the shell goes in, kind of does a divot into the shell, and then you have pieces of shell that are broke, pieces of shell that go into the egg, pieces of shell that's going to end up in your bowl. When you crack flat, the egg just kind of does a little fault line, like a little earthquake. And it just kind of cracks a little. I almost said quack. That's funny. Crack and flat surface. You're able to open the egg right over your bowl. So once you do that, flat surface. Can everybody do like the Volk here? Star Trek? No, you're probably too young. Anyway, make a dog. Roof. So when you have the egg in your hand and you've cracked it, you're going to kind of separate your hands like this. Okay, this part of your hands taking this side of the egg, this part of your hand, which is going to take that part of the shell. So you're kind of separating the shell, spreading your fingers. And parents at home, I'm sorry right now if your children are doing this. You may need another egg. I'm sorry ahead of time. So flat surface is going to go fast. Thank God we have one more egg. Flat surface. Separate it. Boom. Egg in the bowl. Maybe not that high, kids, not that high. But what if you get a shell in there? Great question, Meredyth. Great question.
Yes.
If you get a shell in there, the shell itself is literally magnetized to itself. So if you get a shell in there and you use the shell to get it out, it pulls right out.
Oh, that's cool.
Like it's magic, everybody. It's magic. It's actually science, but I'll call it magic. So let's do it again. Flat surface, fingers separate right into the bowl. No shell, nothing but net. We got 2 eggs in the bowl. All right. I don't know about you, but I really want to stir the chocolate now. And if it's been 2 minutes at your house, it's been a 3 at mine. Well, in my kitchen, but it's kind of my house. We can stir. Everybody ready? Whisk, whisk. Let's stir it. All right, I'm stirring. And at first you're like, oh man, it's not really coming together. It looks kind of soupy, Amber. I don't know, man. But the more you stir, the more you whisk it together, incorporate the egg and the cream. It's starting to look like fudgy pudding. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Stir it, stir it, stir it, stir it. Stir it, makes it shiny. Look at that. Oh, my gosh. MG is what I got to say. We could just eat this and stop right here if you want to. We could just eat this. I mean, I got a spoon. I mean, how beautiful is that? So hopefully everyone's chocolate looks like this too. We didn't have any stirrers. Almost made a mess. Did you see that? Okay. So I'm going to put this whisk over here by my egg. Well, I'll put it over here. This chocolate, we're going to set it off to the side. It's just going to chill. It's going to cool a little bit. And I'll explain that in a second. I'll let you guys keep whisking. I can't wait to see this chocolate in your pies. I have a feeling it's going to be amazing.
We have not added the eggs in yet.
Okay.
Somebody had asked.
No eggs. Eggs in the bowl. Eggs in the bowl. That's where we're at. We're at eggs and vanilla. So I had an idea. You know what would be good in here? If you didn't want to do vanilla extract, you could do a teaspoon of coffee extract or coffee liqueur. You could do actually mint. Anything you really like with chocolate. Like I love mint chocolate chip ice cream. Yeah. You know, just a little bit of mint. Remember the drink that farmers did? Mm-hmm. A little bit of mint goes a long way, everyone. Same with almond. This vanilla, we're going to do a tablespoon because it has to get through all that chocolate flavor. Has to make it through. So while I'm pushing this off to the side, we have our 2 eggs we cracked. Let me get this off to the side. And our tablespoon of vanilla in this bowl. So here's a little trick. I saw it. That they teach you in culinary school. So if you got a towel at home, get it wet. Just damp. Doesn't need to be anything crazy.
Is the vanilla in the same bowl as the eggs?
Yes, it is. The vanilla and the egg are in the same bowl. Twist it like you're jump roping. And hopefully it's not that wet. Mine was. I got water in my face. So make a little circle. See this? Make a little donut on your counter. Set your bowl in it, and guess what happens when you whisk? It stays in place. Look at that. Doesn't move. I was going to call it magic, but I've said that too many times, so we're not going to call it that. So eggs in the bowl, 2 eggs in the bowl. Hopefully no shell, because that doesn't taste good. We have a tablespoon of vanilla in the bowl, and I'm just going to whisk it till the egg and the white is together.
Okay.
Like done. So hopefully your chocolate is all stirred together. And it's been sitting for a minute or 2. We want to slowly add this chocolate to the egg. And the reason is if I dump all this chocolate, it's still warm. It's still pretty warm. It's not hot, but it's warm. If I dump it all in there right away, what's going to happen?
It's going to cook the egg.
We're going to have chocolate scrambled eggs. Yes. I'm not going to say that's a bad thing. It may be good. I don't know. I've never had it, but not a good idea. We're going to go slowly. We're going to slowly whisk in a little bit, introduce it, say hello, dance a little, little shuffle. And then as you start adding it, you can add a little bit more. Like, then you really say hello to the eggs. You're like, hello, eggs. Meet chocolate. Be one with cream, chocolate, sugar, and butter. And then, because there's still some in there, we don't want to leave anything behind. No chocolate is left behind.
No chocolate left behind.
None. We're going to scrape all this chocolate into the pan. See how clean that is? Oh, yeah. This is the time to lick the batter, the spoon. Not in this bowl over here. If you're going to lick the chocolate, now's the time. Okay, everybody. I'm going to show you mine, what it looks like. And hopefully your batter looks just like that. OMG. We are almost there. We are almost time to bake our pie crust.
It smells good.
Oh, this right here is chocolate dreams. It's what dreams are made of, Meredyth.
It is true. That is exactly
my
what
dreams
are made of.
I mean, my dreams are like Willy Wonka's warehouse. Everything's like you can eat it. It's made of chocolate and sprinkles. A river. I I need to get in the fridge. I'm going to become undone a little bit. I'm going to do a little side. Okay.
We're here.
I know. No, it's all right. I'll reach. And I'm back. I was trying to get there, everybody. I was trying to get there. You saw the side shuffle? Yeah, I didn't make it. I was like gone for a brief second. I'm sorry.
No, the funny
next
thing
part
is we saw you the whole time.
Great. Well, this could be on dessert first bloopers then. That'll be just fantastic. So, hopefully you're at this part, everybody. You went and got your crust out of the fridge. Preferably not, as graceful as I did it, because that takes talent. I do my own stunts. Now we're going to put this chocolate egg mixture we just made, that, trust me, is going to be magic, into the pie crust. Yes. When you say all of it, Amber, yes. All of it. Smooth it out. Make it creamy. Okay. If you've got the small tart pans, these ones right here, you're going to put about a 1/4 cup. You could put a little bit more than that, maybe 1/3 of a cup, but it's about a 1/4 cup of the filling in there. And, hopefully you've also put these on a sheet pan, because that's not going to be fun getting out of your oven. Shout out to Jessica. This is all set and ready to go. It's nice and even.
So Jessica wants to know what your tricks are for, there, you just answered it. Okay. For putting it in the little tins. But you just answered that.
I would use, so if you have a measuring cup, which I just put mine away, like literally if I said a 1/4 cup, take a 1/4 cup, pour it in. If you don't want to hold the bowl because it's too heavy, or if you're making multiple pies, you can use a measuring cup. So you have 1 cup in this pie, 1 cup in this pie, 1 cup in this pie, and then do it over so that it's all even. Have you ever made 2 pies at the same time, doubled the batch, and you're like, uh-oh, this one's not as full as this one. What do I do? Well, if you use a measuring cup to put your filling in each pie, you know exactly how much you put in there. Even if you triple the batch, you'll always know because you have the same amount of measurement in each pie.
So I have the mini tins, but I have way more batter than just the 4 little crusts.
If you do, you can put the remaining batter in another pie dish and still bake it. It just won't have crust. It'll just be chocolate filling, and you could put ice cream over it and still eat it. It will totally be like a fudgy brownie with ice cream.
Love it. So someone said their batter is pretty liquidy. Is there a problem? Do you know where they might have gone wrong?
I don't think mine is not like, it's still runny, if you can see that. Your chocolate's melted, your cream is in there. Sugar, it should be totally fine. You used all the same ingredients. As you're whisking, all the butter and cream and the chocolate are all mixed together. It should look just like that. This will become thicker as it bakes. Everybody's nuts? Oh, I mean, these nuts. Get these nuts, not your nuts. Hopefully you're drinking if you're an adult. So now we're going to sprinkle the nuts on top. If you only want nuts on half, because some of your family or whatever doesn't like nuts, just put it on half. If you want to put it in a circle in the center of the pie, go right ahead. You can do that too. You'll make a little design. Sure. Yeah, why not? We'll just put it in there. Okay. Just press it a little bit. Just make sure it's in there really nice. Looks good to me. I think it's time to go in the oven. What do you think?
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, do it. She said, do it. All right.
have so much batter. Like, I'm just like putting batter in items.
I'm afraid to see, Meredyth. So I have one by the magic of television right here. Everybody can see what it's going to look like. There's the big pie. And then I have 4, I got them all over here, small pies here. I gotta say, when I did the 4 small tarts, I probably had about a cup and a half of filling left over.
Okay.
So that's probably where you could probably do a 5th pie, but if you're really stretching the crust, you could add the other 6 cookies, probably that whole part in the beginning to get a 5th pie. But then if you have 6 people over, someone has to share, and no one wants to share. So here's
Yeah.
another really cool thing that I did.
Could you see this? It's a
Can I see it? I can't wait to see it. Yes, I love it. Okay, so trust me when I say this, they're going to be so good. So the tart pans, the mini tart pans, bake in the oven for about 10 to 12 minutes, I think it says, which is right. You're looking for the edges of the pie to kind of puff, almost curl a little bit as they rise, and the center is just going to set. It won't be jiggly, it won't be runny, it'll be set. The crust around the edge will be nice and golden. That's what you're looking for. Same with these, they were nice and golden. The nuts had even browned a little bit. Oh, yeah. Put that back in its little home for a second. I also did them. I did a couple. You can also do it in a 12-cup muffin pan. Look how cute these are. Oh my gosh.
cute.
Yeah, crust. Well, about quarter cup in each one. Press it like we did the crust. They got about 2 to 3 tablespoons of the filling in each one. They're like little bite-sized ones. I could probably shove that whole thing in my mouth, but I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. But the final thing that I thought would be kind of take it over the top kind of thing
Yeah.
is, why don't we garnish the plate with some caramel? And we're just pre-bought caramel. We're just gonna drizzle it like crazy, like we're in some kind of food art in New York or something, and decorate the plate with the tart. Look at, I'm so excited. I just want to eat it.
I'm going to do my plates like that so the whole thing will look like it's supposed to be messy.
It's supposed to be.
Hmm.
That's the beauty of it. That's the art of it. You could do each slice like that too. I think that with this tart and the tart individual tarts, I would say that's a single serving, but it's pretty rich. So someone may want to share, but that's okay. These are definitely individual ones that would be great for cookie time at Christmas. Just saying.
I'm eating it directly out of the pan now because I had so much.
Oh well, I told you could, just not the one with the eggs, Meredyth.
Oh. Okay.
Well, and there's lots of different things. I think one of the questions I had was, will this pie still be good for Thanksgiving? The answer is yes. Once this comes out of the oven, the big pie takes about 25 minutes, 25 minutes to bake. The little ones, like I said, the little tarts take about 10 to 12 minutes. These ones, if you want to know how long these take about 7 to 8 minutes. Still looking for the same thing, golden brown crust, puffed edges, and center set. If you are doing this for Thanksgiving, when you take it out of the oven, let it cool completely on the counter,
Mm-hmm.
and then place it in the refrigerator and chill it for at least a couple hours so the whole pie is cold. Then you're going to wrap it with saran wrap. Probably 2 or 3 times. Make sure it's really set. And the reason is you want to wrap it a couple times is that you don't want anything that's in your refrigerator, like, some old, some ham sandwiches that are in there. You don't want your pie to taste like ham sandwich. Okay.
No.
So if you wrap it a couple times, your pie is going to stay safe, still taste good, and not taste like that ham sandwich you may have in there. So it will be perfectly fine for Thanksgiving. If you want to freeze it, you can do that as well. You can definitely wrap it with a saran wrap, the same thing like I just said. I would probably also wrap it in foil as well. And then when you're ready to eat it, it'd probably take at least a day in your refrigerator to thaw overnight. And then the next day it'll be ready to go.
Okay. So real quick, I want to remind everyone, because we have just over 5 minutes left, about how you can text the word trefoil, and that's going to go into our donation pot, because the last I heard was that we were behind, but I think it's because we were so busy cooking. So, But again, that's Trefoil to 855-980-0305. That is in the chat. So if anyone has the chat up, that number is in there. So we have about 5 minutes. So I know a lot of people are probably just now getting it into the oven, Amber. So, and that's fine because we still have some time left. And
Great.
so folks will be able to kind of show off towards the end here.
Can't
But
wait.
just real quick, when they pull it out, again, let it sit for a little bit and then go ahead and add the nuts, correct?
The nuts go in before the pie goes in the oven.
Never mind.
Okay. Wait, my sous chef is fired. But the reason why you want to let it cool on the counter and not directly into your fridge is because you don't want to turn your fridge into a hot box. You don't want to like turn the temperature down in your refrigerator and all the ingredients in there. You want to make sure that you cool it down on your counter for at least 30 minutes, if not an hour, and then you can place it in your fridge. If you forgot to place your nuts in your pie, is it too late? No, it's not. You can just pull the grate out, sprinkle the nuts on, and push the pie back in. You're still fine, Meredyth.
Well, I didn't even have the nuts, so that's
well,
probably why. I definitely would have
I
added that.
highly recommend some raspberries.
So there is a question since we're kind of just hanging out for a little bit. So Jessica says that her pecan or pecan
Ooh.
pie is always runny in the middle and the crust is burnt. So what's she doing wrong?
Well, it sounds like your temperature of your oven's too high. A lot. I would say, this is like an egg, almost custard-like filling, and you really like 375, 350 is pretty high for a pie that really has like an egg or a custard to it. Like when you see egg and cream in a pie, like say a cheesecake, those pies aren't really cooked very high. And a lot of the browning towards the crust really happens towards the end. So if you see like the crust browning more towards the beginning to the middle of your pie baking, your oven temperature is too high. Now, if your temperature for, say your recipe was 325 and you put it in the oven at 325 in your oven, your calibration for your oven may be off as well. You could get a brand new spanking oven from the store and it could still be off 50 degrees. So you really got to check that as well. But I would say lower your temperature about 25 to 30 degrees, and so that it cooks slower, cooks the center first, and then browns your crust. And then also check your calibration on your oven. You could also get oven thermometers or oven temperatures at Publix to test the temperature in your oven, and make sure you put that towards the back middle of your oven, not the front. Hope that helps.
So I have a question. If anybody else has a question, go ahead and put it in the chat. So we do have 5 minutes left now. So my husband and I were having a discussion about if heavy cream and heavy whipping cream are the same.
Not exactly.
Not exactly.
The whipping has less water in it. So when they want you to do, like, say, whipped cream, will they both work? Yes, but the heavy whipping cream is going to whip much faster. It's going to give you a more kind of not heavier, but lighter whipped consistency than the heavy cream. The heavy cream is more what you're going to, kind of make your cheesecake with, kind of cream things up, make an Alfredo sauce, where heavy whipping cream is more like for the baking, for infusion into stuff like that. So they're similar, it's just the water that happens to be in there. And anything that says whipping, I'm sure they put some air in there to charge you a little bit more.
So Jimmy says he didn't know that, so that explains the liquidy. And I'm also asking.
It will be fine. It will be fine.
So
it's not that detriment in this recipe, trust me.
There is a question about if you were doing this as a mini dessert taking, how would you serve it if you were doing a mini dessert tasting?
Well, if you're doing the mini one, so you could do it this way. This is probably, I can do this, serves one. Okay. I could eat this. If you were doing like a mini, like a petit four, there's silicone molds that you can buy that are really, really small that you can kind of put like a tablespoon each one and put the filling. You could still do it very, very small. You probably want to start when you go to bake it. You want to start at like 2 to 3 minutes. You almost want to half every time you go down in size. You want to half the time, and always start less than what you think. Okay, so if you think, oh, it should be done in 5 minutes, check it at two. That's kind of how you play around with recipes. I don't know everything there is to know about cooking. That's kind of the beauty of my job with research and recipe development is we're constantly looking for the what if, or we're seeing, well, you know what? What happens if I do that? What happens if I put, milk chocolate in this? What happens if I put white chocolate in this? We do that here. So we try to take the what ifs or the oops out of it. So always start on the lower end of cooking and check it at the lowest temperature or time. So if it says 5 to 6 minutes, check it at 3 minutes because you never know your oven, all the variables within cooking. Hopefully
Let's
that
see.
answers it.
So I just want to let everyone know that the timer that you're probably seeing on the screen is actually a little off. That's why we're all kind of seeing different times.
Okay, good.
So I have just gotten an update from the crew on the other side. So we still have a couple of minutes. So 7 minutes in there. So
Really
if anyone
quick,
has.
I know my recipe says heavy cream. Heavy cream is right. I just use the heavy whipping cream. It's not going to make a difference within this pie for this type of use. So
Okay.
don't worry.
All right. I'm going to pull mine out of the oven, so I'm disappearing for a second. Does anyone have a question that I can put to Amber while I walk away? Well, okay, so Amber, when you were tasked with coming up with a recipe to use these cookies, how did you decide on this?
Well, believe it or not, I was a Girl Scout when I was younger. Yes, I was. And my favorite cookie was always the Trefoil cookie. I just love the butteriness, the crispness. It's just a really good cookie. And at that time they didn't have the tagalongs with the peanut butter, so I'd always make a peanut butter sandwich with them, like putting two together. I thought I was a genius. Maybe I came up with the tagalongs, just saying. So that was my favorite cookie. So that's kind of where I started first was I'm going to try for those cookies because one, they're my favorite. Two, iconic. Girl Scout logo, you see it automatically. You think Girl Scouts, that's the cookie, I think. And three, the Trefoil cookie to me, you can change it into anything. You can make it a crust, you can make it a topping, you can probably crush it up and add it to a cookie mix. You could just do so many different flavors and things with it that it just was universal to me. And, that's why I chose it.
Somebody asked if it's okay for your pies to be kind of like a bubble. Or should the
like
center
blowing
be
a
puffy?
Bubble or like puffing?
I think puffy. Should the center be puffed up?
It's probably close to being done then. So if the center is starting to puff, it's starting to it may be a little too hot, and it's probably close to being done.
So my edges are puffed, but the middle is not.
Okay, so you may need another minute. You could also take the edge of the pan and kind of just give it a jiggle and see if the center is jiggly. If the center's jiggly, it's not done yet. Give it another minute.
Okay.
Or two, depending on the size of your pie.
So someone had asked, when did you, or how did you know you wanted to be a chef?
Oh, man. Well, one, I like to eat. I thought as I was going through high school that what's the one job that would never go out of style that everybody would need? And one was doctor, and second was a chef. And I just didn't think I was smart enough to be a doctor. And I loved cooking. I loved cooking with my mother and grandmother in the kitchen. We were always making food. I was always trying to add other things to the recipe when they weren't looking. I'm like, oh, I want more cinnamon in there, and just, shaking it in there when they weren't looking. I just loved doing that, and the science and art of it. I love the beauty of when the recipe comes out and you made it and how proud you are, and just the science of knowing how, two or three things work together to, create this kind of chemical reaction. It was just always something that I really liked and enjoyed learning about. And you know what? I like food. I mean, it's kind of important. You got to kind of like food.
I would think that's sort of hard, because
We do eat a lot here. I mean, it's a little gluttonous at times. We eat all day sometimes, tasting chicken, ice cream, you name it. And by about 2, 3 o'clock, we're pretty full. But we take bites. We don't eat a full plate, thank God.
So in your secret kitchen, is this where the pub sub was born?
I believe so. I don't know 100%, but I would assume so, because attached to this kitchen is the deli smokehouse. And this is where they make all the deli meats. And across the street's the bread. So those two should have met somewhere. So it has to be right here.
That's awesome.
This is where the turkey cranberry sub was made, in this kitchen.
I love that.
I do too. It's my favorite. And it makes me sad when it's only one time a year, but then I look forward to it when it's back.
What's your favorite side? Do you have a favorite side at Thanksgiving?
Side dish? Cream spinach.
Cream spinach.
Yeah.
Interesting. What's your least favorite? What is the thing you were like, no
casserole.
thanks?
I don't even have to think about it. Green bean casserole. I would live a happy life if I never saw green bean casserole again.
You just really hate green beans, or you had a really bad green bean casserole?
I like green beans. I'm just not a fan of canned green beans and cream and mushroom soup together. I don't know what it is. Like, maybe it's nostalgia, maybe it's Betty Crocker. I don't know. It just doesn't hit right here. So I don't know. Like, cream spinach, mashed potatoes, and a big leg of turkey, and I'm set. Oh, pumpkin pie. We can't forget about pumpkin pie. Oh, wait. And yes.
Somebody just said they gave a shout out to the Publix corn casserole.
Yes, that's really good. That's another really good recipe.
I have not tried this one.
Yeah, it's really yummy. We have a lot of good sides, I gotta say. The Publix.com/recipes has a lot of really great side dishes and inspirations, desserts, cookies. I mean, I don't have to search very far when I need a recipe and a recipe quick. So I know I just go to my Rolodex, Publix.com, and I'm like, stuffing, there it is. I'm doing it.
Okay, so we should be winding down. I think at the last check we had around 5 to 7 minutes. So is anyone having any trouble? Has anyone else gotten theirs out of the oven yet? Or
Mine
is
is still in the oven. Mine has 6 minutes.
Okay. I did the mini one, so I think Jessica also
close.
did the minis, maybe.
10 to 12 minutes, so you're probably close, aren't you?
Yeah, I just took them out only because I was afraid. Okay, so Donette and Megan took theirs out.
Ooh.
Oh, Jimmy B says, by some miracle, ours actually looks kind of good. Oh, there's Jessica.
I see it. That looks outstanding.
Nice job.
Trefoil Kitchen. I see them. That looks great.
Oh, do you see? Oh, that looks good, Donette.
They made lots of pies. Wow.
Y'all don't want to see mine.
I do, actually. I do.
Wait.
I so want to see your pies. You may be fired. I'm just gonna say, everyone. She better have done me good. Let's see, everybody. Oh, those look good. They overflowed. It's okay. It's okay. But they look good. They look good. You're good.
Okay, so we're leaving in 5 seconds. So we want to thank you, everybody, and